I am live. Morning. All right, so I decided that I'm gonna do these Friday mornings. I have my coffee and I'm kind of in the mood of hopefully no one shows up because obviously I haven't told anybody that I was doing this live today. I told my friends, but I kind of like told them last minute. Anyhow, so this live is basically just a chill, just me chatting about probably what happened this week or each week, whatever I choose. So yeah, it's just gonna be a free talking um, type of thing. And yeah, so basically for me this week I had a limiting belief experience. That's what we'll talk about today. My limiting belief experience. I had a limiting belief experience. And my limiting belief experience was uh, YouTube changed their YouTube has changed, well, is changing their monetization thing where they're doubling it in February. And I was like, this is not possible. This is unreal now, unrealistic goal that I have. And I went down a whole spiral. Yeah, manifesting me. My, I'm human, not perfect. And, my manifesting brain just like turned off. I mean, we are always manifesting. We are. I mean, every single day, anything that you experience, we've manifested it in our lives. Whatever happens today is a reflection of what happened, in the past, our mindsets, what we expect. We are always manifesting, whether it's something that we want or don't want, is going to happen. And I don't know. I don't know if I don't like that I manifested this. Darn YouTube and changing what's the thing of being monetized, making it seem so hard. I'm sure it's a lot of pressure for other creators and stuff. And you might not be a YouTuber, you might, be going towards a different goal or whatever. But whatever that goal is, you have come to learn this week that it's gonna challenge you and it's going to ask you. And it felt like when I, go down from the anger, the vexation of how dare you, YouTube, do this to me, you know, um, after I delved back from that anger and that limiting belief session that I had on my own, I went into what can I do? What can I do to take me towards the school and actually like really like propel me or try to push me forward. The lives was this is something that I have been running away from for a long time. I did it a lot in 2020 on my other channel, but sorry if I look away. I have a habit of like I always look away from the camera. Try my best to look at that because yeah, my lighting is not as good because I don't have my phone. My phone is here. I'm using my laptop for this. Um, anyhow, so yeah, I had a limiting beliefs, segment of, but what I was saying about goals, I was talking about goals, right? Goals. Yeah, so you might have a goal, you set a goal for yourself, and then something happens and it makes it seem so much harder. And in that moment, the easiest thing that you could possibly do is give up. It's like throw your hands in the air and say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. It's not worth it. It's not worth my time. But who were you doing? Who were what is your why initially in going towards this goal? And that's why I had to ask myself to like, what was my why? What is my why for doing this? I love having conversations, with friends, with strangers, with anybody when they talk about manifesting or even helping somebody in their life. A lot of people, a lot of my friends, a lot of people that know me, they'll always tell me, I love talking to you when I have a problem. I love having, like getting to like pick your brain or whatever because you just know how I feel. I had a friend this week that was going through some stuff and they were talking to me, and when I was like reacting, I was already reacting. The person said to me, like, you just know exactly how I feel. Um, and I just have that knack. I have that knack for, connecting with people. And also, I also have that brain where I had my other friends where, we do YouTube together and they were telling me that, I really am strong. I really am. How dare YouTube change these monetization rules? And I'm really, really far from even actually nearly reaching um any of it because yes, I'll probably reach the 1,000 subscribers thing, but let me get some tea. Let me get some tea. Coffee. Mm, so good. Yeah, so I'll probably reach the 1,000 subscribers thing. I think I'm like 466 or something like that subscribers right now, but my watch time is like 100 or something. There's a lot of my views coming from shorts. A lot of my subscribers coming from shorts. And I've kind of like scheduled out shorts for the rest of the year. Thank God YouTube allows you to do that, to schedule things way in advance. TikTok gives you a limit. And the funny thing is, on TikTok, I'm actually growing without doing anything. I only recently posted up on TikTok this week, and I have the last time I posted up on TikTok was in January or something like that. And my channel, my thing, well, account on TikTok was like at 75 followers, and today I think I'm like 160 something. It grew itself. So yeah. Anyhow, back to YouTube, back to goals, back to limiting beliefs. Yeah. So yeah, like this week I really did have a limiting belief experience. And when I found out those rules, I felt depleted. Would that be the word? I felt like it's never gonna happen. I felt like, why am I wasting my time? I felt like this is like the worst thing that YouTube could possibly do. I just felt like so lost, so angry. That's why I actually refrained. I was going to make a video. I was so mad, and I was like, no, the old Kimberly would do that. The new Kimberly, this new version of me I've been talking about, that's going to meditate right after this. I'm doing this live before I do my meditation because I know if I do it after, or say I'm going to do it after my meditation on Friday morning, I'm not going to do it. So you got to know. You got to know yourself and be honest. Anyhow, yeah, I felt really low. Have you ever, or do you have something in your life that you're going towards? It might not be YouTube, it might be a business, it might be something, and something happened. It might not be happening now, but something happened, and it really like it felt like it was beating you down. It felt like it was saying like this thing was coming at you, saying, "You're never going to reach me. You're never going to achieve this. You're wasting your time." And the day that YouTube brought out that news, and I was going to my bed, and I was calming my brain down to sleep. I had that little voice because I'm meditating a lot, meditating every day. I do meditate every day now to Sensei Pro. Anyhow, I had that little voice in my head that said, nothing is impossible. Nothing. When that came across my head, it was like if God like just spoke directly to me, like nothing is impossible. So if nothing is impossible, what are you going to do right now? Whatever goal it is that you have, whatever you're going through in your life, whatever it is that you want to achieve, and you know that nothing is impossible, why? Is rules going to change what you are going to achieve? Why? So like it's basically like I felt like that message came to me, and the question that came behind it was, so if it is that, nothing is impossible, why am I why am I setting myself this limitation of, if I don't reach my, if I don't get monetized in by February, like, like I can't do this. And I say I can do this. So what is it in your life that you are limiting yourself with? What is it that, whatever goal it is that you've been trying to achieve for many, many years, and right now you're telling yourself you're wasting your time? Because if nothing is impossible for God, for Source, nothing is impossible for you, because God Source lives inside of you. There's no limit to what you can achieve. People say the sky is the limit. I believe that there's no limit whatsoever, because there's infinite black space, as per Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza, science. There is infinite space. If then we talk about the world, and we talk about outside of the galaxies or whatever, there's infinite. There's no limit. So there's literally no limit. The sky is not the limit. There's literally no limit to what we can achieve. So why then do we limit ourselves? We limit ourselves because we don't believe and trust in ourselves to achieve it. We think that other people are better than us. We think that um we that's just not for me. I'm reaching too high. I worked so many years, I'm not getting even closer. And ow, my ring just pulled here on my fingers. Yeah, I'm not getting any closer. Why am I wasting my time? And I think that we just need to believe in ourselves more. We need to stick to our whys. My thing with this whole YouTube thing is that I know that I needed to start doing more on my channel. I know that I needed to step up, do some lives. I need to get back into creating. I've been, going through this, doing this thing lately. I'll tell you all about it in another video. But I've been going through this thing lately, and it's kept me very distracted. Has me very distracted, her struggling to get the motivation to or to feel to create, because I don't always need to have the motivation. I like talking, so I'm going to create no matter what. But I feel like this, this announcement, it kind of gave me the kick in the butt that I needed. It really, really did give me the kick in the butt that I needed. So in hearing all my story, I've been babbling now like for 13 minutes and a half. I want to ask you right now, what is it that you think is impossible for you to reach? And you could put it in the comments, because obviously you're going to be watching this on the replay, because no one's watching me right now. I really wanted this. I wanted this because this is my first live. Yeah. So you could put it in the comments. What is it that you're limiting yourself in thinking that you can achieve? And when will be the time that you decide to put in the actual work that you know that you need to do, and do the things and show up for yourself? We show up for work. When we have a job, we get there on time. We leave there even after our time. We put in all this extra, and that's building somebody else's dream. But when it comes to our dreams, and I have this too, this is the limitation on myself too, that I need to start working on. This is me starting to work on it, showing up, making sure that I do these lives. Um, and I really get serious about my channel, like really, really, really. And plus, so I think too, what happens is that like I'm changing. So it was like, if I'm changing, and the things that I used to really, really like dial into before, some of them I really don't want to like talk about anymore or whatever. You know, it's how am I going to show up now? And I just need to show up and everything will come forth. Back to the question I was asking. You can see like when I create my videos, I'm probably like pausing and be like, I went off topic completely, completely. Anyhow, this is like a morning chat with my coffee that I need to be drinking before it gets cold. Yeah, I have a Christmas cup. I love this cup. Yeah. What is it that goal, that thing that you've been praying and ask God for, that thing that you've been seeing yourself, be or do or have? What is it? I mean, you know what it is, and you're brave enough. You could put it in the comments, or you could write it down on a piece of paper for yourself, or put it in your notes of your phone. I put a lot of things in my notes, my phone. And then is the time that you are going to actively decide. Like when I say actively decide, when is the time you're going to actually put the action in to achieve that goal? Are you going to wait like how I was lagging all this time? So when some rule change that makes it seem like even harder, are you gonna just step up and decide that you know what? Thank you, Kimberly. I needed that thought this morning. I need to step up for myself too because I too have a limiting belief. And for us uh, to overcome these limiting beliefs, we gotta overcome ourselves first. Overcoming self is putting in the work when it feels like if you are just wasting your time. You're never wasting your time when it's something for you and a goal that you're going towards. And for me, if it takes me the next 10 years to reach my YouTube goal of becoming monetized, so be it. But you know what? Nothing, no change is going to stop me from picking up my camera and talking because I love to pick up my camera and talk. I love to talk naturally. I love to talk about manifesting. I love to talk about meditating. I love to talk about faith. My grandmother brought me up on faith. I used to be a sickly child. I used to be so sick. Every single month, I had a cousin too. Me and her were the sickly children in the family, and I will be, I had that vomiting and diarrhea, and I used to be a child that hardly ate any food. We're finishing this for surely at half an hour. You're not going past half an hour, by the way. Anyhow, I used to be, like this, I used to be sick every month or every 2 months. I am sick at home from school, and I have a bucket next to me vomiting in, and I have diarrhea. And I remember when told my grandmother one day she was sitting across from me. I was laying in the chair, bucket next to me as normal. She's sitting across from me, and I said, her name was Mama. I said, Mama, God rest her soul. She died when I was 12, going 13. Anyhow, I said to her, I am just tired of my 6-year-old self. I am tired of being sick all the time. How can I stop this? I don't want to be sick anymore. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. I was so tired of being sick, fed up, because it meant I couldn't play with my dollies. It meant that I couldn't go to school. And back then, a little child, I used to love school. I love primary school. I used to come home on evenings and just do my homework. As soon as I get home, before I even take off my clothes, I used to do my schoolwork. Those were happy days. I was happy back then when she was alive. I was spoiled, very, very spoiled. God knows why he took her from me so early because some things I had to learn and I had to become. I would have been horrible today. I really, really would have been like that spoiled grandmother child that you know. Anyhow, and she looked at me and she said, you know, you could just ask God to just stop you from being sick. And because I had like this wild imagination when I was younger, I just sat down. I lay down there because I was not sitting, I was laying down. And I visualized like these little men coming into my body with their hammer and their nails, and they're fixing me and they're fixing me and they're fixing me. and they were fixing me, and I'm like, thank you. And back then, obviously, I didn't know I was like manifesting health into my life. I didn't know. I was just following my grandmother, and they were fixing me. And this taught, if I was an adult then, and she said that to me, I would have had a limiting belief of this is not going to happen. I am always going to be sick. But because I was a little child, 6 years old, and she still had an impact on my mind, on the way that I think, I went in. I saw these little men fixing me, coming in and doing all the work and stuff like that. And I envisioned my image of God that back then, and coming in and just curing me and putting like this magic thing all over me. And I've told this story on my channel before, if you haven't heard it. No, like the life, by the way. And anyhow, and when I think back of that sickly me, let me finish telling you the story. Yeah, and I visualize coming in and fixing and all this thing. And I also visualize that I turned like 20, 21. I was in my 20s. I was early 20s. I was 21. And I'm saying, oh my God, the last time I was sick, I was 6 years old, laying out in my grandmother's chair. And my grandmother told me how to heal myself, and I did it. And this is the first time I've ever been sick like this again, ever in my life. I remember I told you about that cousin that used to get sick with me. I'll tell you, I'll continue the story with her too. Anyhow, and that's exactly what happened. After that, they didn't get sick until I was in my 20s. I was living with my sister, me and my ex-husband at the time. And I had vomiting and diarrhea all of a sudden. I got really, really sick. And while I was letting go of my guts in the bathroom, sorry. And yeah, while I was letting go of my guts in the bathroom, and I was, like feeling like I want to vomit too, and I had to turn around and, ugh. Anyhow, I remember like that thought came to me. Oh my God, like somebody, my ex at the time, well, husband at the time, he said, "You're so sick." And I was like, last time I was ever sick like this, I was 6 years old, and I had deja vu in that moment. And I sat there and I was like, wow, like this really happened. I brought this on myself. No, my cousin. My cousin never had that experience. She didn't have my grandmother. And she continued to be sick from these, yeah, from, like how I was from childhood, but hers continued right through into adulthood until the day came when she ended up having like these blackouts, being sick. And she had a blackout. She never came back. She died at like, I think she was like 36 or 38, something though. She was in her 30s. She was not 40 yet. And like when she died, it really hit me hard. And now that I'm talking about this, it's like it hits me like if I was an adult then and I had that limiting belief that I couldn't heal myself because adults, we put reality, what our version of reality is, or what's possible for us. I would have been still sick or not here today, and I have to now put that towards like this whole YouTube thing where I know that I'm going to reach my goal of getting monetized, be it before January or be it after. It doesn't matter. I will, once I continue to show up for myself, continue to show up and push towards my goal. Because if I keep pushing that door and pushing that door, one day it's going to come down. And that, and I will be able to prove to myself that I did it for me. What door do you have to push and keep pushing on and don't give up? No matter what age you are, no matter where you are in life, whatever that goal is, it is possible because nothing is impossible, especially when you rely on God, source inside of you. There's nothing impossible. That's it for this live. We made it to 25 minutes. I've chatted off my head, but I will be back next week. And this is 6 a.m. UK time. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for watching the replay. If you're watching on replay, definitely put hashtag replay in the comments. And yeah, I want to hear what you could share your limiting beliefs if you are brave enough, or you could share, that if I motivated you to keep pushing you towards your goal, please share. I want to hear. I love to connect. I love to know that I am making an impact on my viewers, because that's the reason I create these videos, to help you with all my experiences that I had in the past. Anyhow, that's it. I'm gonna shut up. Gonna go drink my coffee, get ready to go meditate, and hopefully this too will encourage you to get into meditation, get into sitting with God. Stop doing all this talking. You're praying, praying, praying. God, I want this. God, I want that. God, I want this. And God is just saying, just listen to me. I think that if I was not meditating, I would have, I would be probably still angry at YouTube right now. I'm not really too happy with them, but it is what it is. And whatever the goal is, I'm making sure that I am doing this now really for me, because I gotta push down that door of limitation that is in my brain. And I can only do that if I trust and believe source and know that nothing is impossible for me. I'm gonna shut up now. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to be brave, be strong, and be you. Bye.